We'll pull this joint up on here too, just so we can
Right.
see.
I'm actually on my laptop right now, so it's cool. So I can actually like I don't need like no pen and no paper this time. I can actually just like dig off in the phone.
Right. And we can check
Right.
out the comments and all that. Let me see. It says finish. Does that mean we're on?
Are we on?
Are we on? Let's see. No. All right. It says we live.
Oh, word. That's what's
I
up.
guess. Let's
Shout out
see.
to the people.
Yeah. Shout out to the people for
Dude,
real. For real.
we,
Are we
we
really
just we
on?
just we just straight pumping this one too. Like we ain't even talk about it or nothing. We just going live on Friday at midnight. That's
Yeah.
what's
We
up.
live. Yeah. We got 56 people in here. Let me go ahead and get up in here, man.
That's what's up. Oh,
All right.
really?
Yeah. All right. But yeah, man. Tonight, man. So what? We're gonna
I'm
talk
not.
about.
I'm. Am I
Go.
am I gonna be able to see comments at all? Because I know we need to get more interactive. Am I gonna be able to see comments? Is there a way to
I
do that?
mean, I'm
I know
actually.
we're kind of doing it like this because I'm on vacation. So
Yeah, man. We got Coop in the building still on the
what up?
quarantine on vacation. Well, I'm looking
Right.
at some of the comments, man. So tonight we're gonna talk about what 25th anniversary of Only Built for Cuban Links, that Benny the Butcher album that dropped tonight, or not
Yeah.
tonight,
Yes, sir.
last night. We're gonna talk about that Snoop and DMX verses, and we're gonna talk about Snoop not saying that Eminem is a top 10 MC of all time. You want to start there?
What with the Eminem Snoop
Yeah.
thing?
Let's start there with the Eminem thing, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
I
Well,
feel like
go ahead.
no, no, you have at it.
Have at it. Well, Snoop Dogg out on Breakfast Club. He was talking about his verses. He was talking about the No Limit Chronicles that were airing, and not sure how it came up exactly, but he said that Eminem's not in his top 10. And it is
Right.
interesting in hip hop whenever someone says that Eminem's not in the top 10 for whatever reason, they have to explain this to people. Um, and they asked him why, and he said that M wasn't, messing with guys like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. I think he named KRS-One. He said LL. He said Ice Cube. And he asked, need I go on? I mean, he could have went Pac, he could have went Nas, he could have went Jay, and then he could have went Big. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But that seemed to be a story because I guess they're in the same camp, and he also said that's his brother. They're in the same camp. They teammates. It's all love. He said, but
Yeah,
what
we
really
love
stuck
that.
out for me is when he said that other music he couldn't do without, and the Eminem music he could do without.
Do you think that was shady,
I don't
or
think
do
that
you
was
think that
shady.
was accurate?
I think that was just honest, man. And I think that Eminem's music is very different in the culture. It doesn't jam out like the rest of the artists that he named. Those artists that he
I think
named have classic bangers. I mean, I don't think Eminem has a classic banger in hip hop, does he?
I think the way I am is a classic banger. You
So
wouldn't? You
you
don't think
you,
so?
you go out and you hear DJ throw on the way I am.
Oh, you mean like that kind of banger,
I mean, that's hip
like
hop.
that
You know what I'm
song that
saying?
you
Hip
can.
hop is based on, what I'm saying, the DJ. DJ is the cornerstone of hip hop. And if the DJs ain't spinning your stuff, I mean,
If you're just talking about that generalized club scene, I understand what you're saying. But if you're just talking like the club, depending on what coast you're on, especially like West Coast and Midwest, where he gets a whole lot of love. Yeah, like he's been spun before. Like you want to know what's crazy? You know, one of his records that used to get spun a lot, and it's actually one of his better records to me, and I really love the record. The Superman record. Don't get me
super.
wrong, I love these hoes. It's no secret, everybody knows. Like, yeah, that song got burned. Like, I heard that song in spots in Atlanta, like when it dropped off the Eminem show, like for real. I'm not saying it's like people commenting.
Yeah. Can you see the comments here?
No, I can't see the comments, but it's all good.
Leonard says Eminem's music is fucking trash.
I don't think that it's trash. I think Snoop is giving an accurate depiction about how the average black man or woman coming from the inner city may view his music in terms of the lack of relatability, which we've talked about. Because if we're just talking about skill wise, yeah, he's top 10. If we're talking skills,
Well, I
like
mean,
if
do
we,
we? But do we ever do that though? Like, do we ever do that where it's like if we're talking skills, then this person in the top 10. We always talk about everything, like the music and the catalog and everything has everything to do with
It's
all of it.
it's a deal breaker for me. Like you have to be able to spit to a certain level to me to garner a certain sort of acclaim. Like I know we're going to talk about it in a minute. Part of why I love Griselda so much right now is because they can legitimately really rap.
What do
Like when
is
I hear them,
Eminem
I'm
in your
like, I'm
is Eminem in your top 10? We're talking
all
about
time.
everything collectively.
Is that what you're saying?
What's that?
Is he in my top 10 all time?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Why not?
That's what I mean. I think Snoop's just being honest and accurate about how the average black male from the inner city views Eminem music. It's like everybody knows he's crazy nice, and everybody knows that he's not necessarily the type of dude that you would want to step to in a battle. But his music doesn't resonate a la Rakim or Kane too. And also too, real quick, when you were saying that and you were telling me because I've only heard what Snoop said, I didn't watch the interview.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting ready to leave when he did that, I guess. So like I didn't watch it. But when you just listed the names of people that he named, you have to understand that Snoop is like 19 years old when Deep Cover's coming out in like 91. And so hip hop is a young man's game. And so Snoop's top 10 is probably going to consist of guys who are heard from 85 to 90. Hence why you hear something like Lottie Dottie Redone on Doggy. He grew up on Slick Rick, Kane,
Yeah.
Rakim,
But
LL.
that's
That's
what he
his
said though.
era.
When they asked
Those are the
him,
dudes.
but that's what he said though. When they asked him why wasn't Eminem top 10, he said because he can't fuck with some of the guys in the 80s.
Right,
So he,
right. I mean,
and
I
and
feel
that's
that
what I
way
was
too,
telling
even
somebody
though
else.
Snoop's older than me.
That's what I was telling somebody else. I was like, I was telling my girl actually. I was like, the fact that they are in the same camp and Snoop being Snoop, and he's one of the biggest artists in the world, especially in the 90s, right? And so
Still,
he probably remembers Eminem from the guy who came in, who was real humble, working with Dr. Dre.
perspective.
So in his mind,
Perspective.
he never looks at Eminem in the ways that everybody else does. He just
I
remembers
mean,
him.
and Snoop is competitive. He might look at him and it's like, I know you Dre's new sidekick the way I used to be, but you didn't make anything like the Chronic or Doggy Style. Which we're going to get to with the whole versus thing because you and I have been talking with some frequency just about, Snoop's brilliance and how it's kind of like, these versus thing is getting people taken up a notch.
I think you know what if we're going to talk about verses, and we're going to get to that in a minute. I do think Snoop's stock went up, if that's possible. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Um,
How can you be as big as he is and your stock go up as an MC at this point when he's old.
I think when he did
Like
that
he got some
freestyle at
years
the
on me and
end,
I'm old.
man. Oh yeah. All right. Kendall Jackson says LL got more hits than Eminem. Um.
Yes.
Yeah.
LL
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
hits than
Yeah.
almost anybody.
LL got a lot more hits than a lot of people.
Most people.
And while we're talking about LL, KRS said that he would blow LL out in the verses. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's just KRS being KRS, or is some validity to that?
I think you and I had a little bit of a conversation about
Mm-hmm.
that, and I was like, Chris got some stuff that's gonna be tough for L, like the All Yeah joint, definitely some of that BDP, Criminal Minded by any means necessary, by all means necessary. Um, you know, I will tell you what. Can I say something right quick? And this is not a shameless plug.
Go for it.
We just started our whole Spotify playlist, and we started it with the Nas versus Jay-Z, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since then, we've done Outkast and A Tribe Called Quest. As somebody that built out the Outkast and the Nas, the hits from Jay and Tribe were a little unsettling towards the end. KRS isn't going to get off as easy as somebody like me was thinking. Like Mike, when you sent me your playlist, like I was like when you got to the end, I was like, oh, I'm like, hold on, I'm like, those are all hit records, and
You talking about Tribe, or
not
you talking about Jay?
I'm talking about the J. Like
Okay.
the Tribe, you mix the hit records in more. You were
Hmm.
kind of like, I think our Tribe and Outcast list is a better list because I think it plays better.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
The hits are dispersed through it. Right. But I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, and I felt like I picked Nas's best stuff. Maybe some 3 to 5 tracks that I thought I could have had on there. I took Ether off on purpose because I just felt like he had so much brilliant stuff, and that Ether, as brilliant as it is, isn't one of his 20 most brilliant songs. Outside of the hook, if you take the hook out of that song, it's not one of his 20 most brilliant songs. That's why he's so brilliant. But the last 3 or 4 songs that you had on the J playlist, dude, I'm like, hold on. I'm like, those are all hits.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
they're
yeah.
major hits. And I
And you know
was like,
what?
yo,
I
I
got
was like,
knocked for not putting Can't Knock the Hustle on there. I didn't put Song Cry on there. I think Song Cry should have been on there.
I think Can't Knock the Hustle should have been on there over Song Cry. I think that's preference to the bars, though.
Jigga What I didn't have on there. I don't think I had anything from Volume 3. Oh, no, Big Pimpin' was on
Like, um, I would have picked some of Jay's. Like, how about this?
there. I
Like,
should
I
have put
guess my thing
Imaginary
is,
Player on there, though. I should have done that.
I was about to say, I feel like you did yourself a disservice by not putting Imaginary Player and 99 Problems on there. Because
I'm
those
not a big
problems would have been
99
problems
Problems
for me.
fan. I'm not a big 99 Problems fan. It's a
I
good
mean,
record.
he's not a big storyteller. That is his most notable story. Not even his best, but most notable.
Okay. I give you
And
that. I
that's what.
mean, yeah,
And like I'm saying, 99 Problems in specific relationship that I put some Nas shit on there that I knew Jay couldn't fuck with, like on a storytelling level.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
all right.
and
Let's
99
go
Problems
back
would have
real
helped
quick.
some of that,
Let's go back to
huh?
this Eminem top
Yeah,
10 thing. I think that a lot
no,
of people I think a lot of people get all right, let's put it this way. Eminem's music doesn't do what other hip hop icons' music does. If we're talking about Kane, you got songs like Ain't No Half Steppin', you got Raw, you got Warm It Up Kane that are bangers. You got with
mm,
Rakim, you got Paid in Full, you got Microphone Fiend, blah blah blah. LL, we know what LL got. These like the top of the top got heat. Even guys like Scarface got songs like Mind Playing Tricks on Me. You will hear that any and everywhere you go.
right. I mean, Hand of the
Eminem
Dead
doesn't
Body,
have
Going
those.
Down, Never Seen a Man Die. Those are
Yeah,
classics.
yeah,
All
yeah.
hits. Yeah, it is.
And,
Let's
and, and you
face
know what?
value.
Another thing that we can say, if we're being fair, none of the top 10 MCs out. Well, I'm not even gonna say anything about Kanye. Kanye's something else. None of the MCs that we hold to a high level would get away with making the real Slim Shady.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like they just wouldn't.
No, no, I think I do, but I would like for you to elaborate, if you, I mean, if you didn't mind.
I'll be honest. I think if we listen to the real Slim Shady or Hi My Name Is, records are kind of corny.
I want you to possibly like corny, intentionally corny, and here's something people have to understand this. Like Eminem's core fan base, Mike, was built on the underground. Let's not act like he was just some white boy pop star who like popped up and made like these corny like radio friendly records. Like he earned his stripes before he made those records. He roasted most of the guys from his class. No, I mean, no,
Yes
Mike.
and
Actually,
no.
let me back up. He roasted everybody from his class.
Yes and no. This is the thing though. Like you know
No,
who no, no, this is how I feel. Like the people who were in his class that did make it on that battlefront, we could say that about somebody like Cannabis, right? Eminem was who he was on the battle scene, but when it came to making records, he was a whole nother person. This is the MTV guy. Let's be real. He was out there on TRL with the boy bands, Fred Durst,
yeah,
Kid Rock. This was his
right.
class. he wasn't he wasn't in that cipher with Mos Def, DMX, Mike Geronimo, and all that, and Cannabis. Let's be real. That's not how they
I mean, he
promoted
but
him
hold
when
on.
he came out.
First of all, I mean, not necessarily, but first of all, I mean, most. Did you say Moses' name and the name of guys that you're saying like he didn't really rhyme with?
I'm just saying, like when everybody
Like,
was coming out and being marketed in their debut, he wasn't. He wasn't.
all I'm saying is of all the guys you name, Moses is the only guy that can really fade him on the mic if they're like going live, and that is the thing about him. And that's what I keep telling people. It's like, you need to respect the fact that it's like only people that are better than him face to face are all time great. I understand what you're saying, 'cause, Mike. I don't care what time of day or when it is. When Ain't No Half Stepping comes on, I'm listening. And M don't have a record like that. And you're right.
So
Every
are we
time Ain't No
judging him
Half
on
Stepping
different
comes on, I gotta
standards?
hear it. It's Kane. It's Kane at his best. Of course I gotta hear it. And M doesn't have that effect. That's a cultural thing. He's white, even though he's coming from Detroit, and even though he's coming from an inner city type of background, it just doesn't resonate the same. But that doesn't mean that like he's not nice. Like he busted Cannabis's ass at the Rap Olympics, didn't he?
I mean, he lost the Rap Olympics to Rhyme Fest, but whatever. I mean, listen, we know Eminem can
I've
rap.
heard Mike. I've heard those bars. He didn't lose that at all. But whatever. That's what I mean. It's like that was really more like, yo, we can't let this white boy come fade every nigga down here. That was
Now,
down in the A. I mean, I'm not in the A right now, but I mean, like that was in the A when that happened. Mike, like he deserved to win. He was the best MC that showed up, and he busted everybody's ass, including Rhyme Fest. Rhyme Fest didn't win that fair and square.
one thing I will give
So
Eminem is the fact that, coming from the battle scene and turning into the songwriter that he became as an assigned artist, I can't think of anybody from the battle scene that was able to make that transition as well as he did. I will give
how
him
about
that.
this? How about this? Name a battle rap MC that's a better songwriter than Eminem.
I don't think there's one.
So
But
he's got some notoriety and some claim to fame in this game. So maybe not top 10, but like notoriety
like I said,
here.
I think that his catalog hurts him in that way. We know he can rhyme. I think
You
his
want to know what's funny? I think he would be greater if he came out now, Mike, and just could kind of mixtape and short tape like most of his shit. Like if he could do like just 8 to 10 track joints and just do a bunch of like mixtapes, like showing his like dazzling rhyme displays and schemes.
but you know what? I mean, I guess I'm the opposite with that. I liked him better when he wasn't doing all the fast syllable, this, that, and the third.
He's
Like
always
he was a
been
better
doing that though,
songwriter
Mike.
then.
You don't think that he's always been doing that though?
No.
That's what I mean about the way that I am. The way that I am is the start of that multi-syllable pattern of flow where he starts stacking the bars inside, like a la like a Cool G Rap or Big Pun. Like it
What?
kind of started on the Marshall Mathers LP, and really to me that's when he became a great MC. So I coincide the things that you're talking about also with his greatness.
Well,
Like there's
Kendall
nothing great about the
Jackson
Slim
asked.
Shady. Like outside of Kim just being demented and hilarious, there's really nothing great about the Slim Shady LP to me. There's some good songs on there. I think Brain Damage, right?
Yeah, yeah. I liked
Yeah,
Amityville. I liked
Amityville was
yeah.
solid.
I mean, it has its
But like
moments. Kendall
he
Jackson
had some
asked.
joint.
Oh, let me get to some of the comments. Kendall Jackson asked, "Who has more hits, Eminem or Busta Rhymes?" Now, come on,
Buster.
Busta.
It's Buster.
And you know what? And if we talk about a versus, and I think I've said this before, no one wants to see Busta Rhymes. I'm sorry. It's just the
Hey Mike, you
energy.
want to know what?
He can go from scenario to look at me now, and he has everything in between.
Mike, you want to know what? Like I didn't feel that way so much, but I started going back through some of Buster's catalog. You have a very valid point. I mean, if you want to do another Spotify playlist, can I pick like a mystery contender for Buster?
Who is there to go against Buster?
I'm trying to think of bring to the table that has like the hits. And like he has an array of hits. Like he has those Mariah Carey, Janet Jackson joints, but then he's got like those flip mode joints that are hits too.
And
And
he's
then he's
worked
got
with.
like his hardcore stuff. Like, I mean, I know we're going to talk about the Purple Tape. Like, you remember the Heist with Ray and Ghost?
Mm-hmm.
That's a dope record.
Yeah, it
You remember
is.
what's the song? What's the song on the Purple Tape 2 with Ray that Dre did the beat on?
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like, he's got stuff like that he can play. That stuff people don't even really know or would even look to. Like, he could hit you with that, and you're like, oh yeah, he was snapping on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Busta's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, and
I'm
and
trying, I'm
not to
trying to
mention the
find
remixes.
somebody from his era, like '89. You want to know what? I mean, it doesn't seem fair, but it's like even though he's with leaders of the new school, I feel like he's kind of from that Scarface Ice Cube era where it's not like quite that Kane, Rakim, Cool G Rap, KRS One time,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not that Snoop Nas, Wu Tang, Biggie time yet either. He's in that middle gap, right?
Yeah.
And I think him and Face and Cube are the three best guys from that middle gap. It's just stylistically that doesn't play well at all.
Because you know what? Stylistically, the only people we could put in his dimension, I would say, is like Redman
Right, man.
and Meth. And just off the top of my head, and Meth doesn't. I love Method Man. It's my favorite rapper growing up. He ain't got the joints that Busta has. As a solo artist at
No, he
all.
would lose, and people's feelings would be hurt. Actually,
Yeah.
I mean,
And I love
he would have to play.
Redman
How
too.
about this? How about this? He would have to play a lot of Wu Tang joints,
Hmm.
like not Method Man album joints.
Busta got a lot, man. And I think that LL would be sufficient to go against him. But the thing is, him and L are so different. I think the energy with Busta's hits might out. It wouldn't be a good matchup for LL. I'll put
I,
it that
I
way.
mean, the first person that keeps coming to mind every time you say Buster is LL for me,
It's like
Mike,
the only
because
one, I think.
because he has enough hits, and that's
Hmm.
what I'm thinking. It's like he's the only person from Buster's time frame that even has Buster's level of hits. If you actually look at it,
But you know what?
because
Busta and Snoop would have been interesting. I think Snoop showed us
Snoop would have won for the same reason that he won against X, though.
Dr. Dre.
Elephant,
Man, those Dr. Dre track hit.
elephant.
Yeah, those Dr.
Like
Dre
Mike,
tracks hit
I'm like
different.
like I said, like remember I was telling you I was worried at the end of the Jay Z playlist just because you had so many hits, and it's like I had used my hits, like I had used "Hate Me Now," "If I Rule the World." I refuse to use "Street Dreams" or the remix on any top 20 Nas playlist. You know,
Yeah.
like I was even more concerned when Snoop was rolling out all of his hits that you know word for motherfucking word.
And
I was
honestly,
like,
man,
oh
you know
my,
what? DMX has a great catalog, and
great.
DMX played all the right songs.
And it didn't matter.
Nah, what did you have it scored? I had it like 14-7 or something. I think something like
I
that.
think it was I think it was like 13-6 ish or something like whatever. I think I remember picking 13 Snoop records, I believe. I mean,
Um,
I just like cuz Get At Me like I know like there were just and here's the thing about it, there were some records that I just gave X and I wasn't even sure, like I gave him Get At Me Dog. Like I know the story behind Get At Me Dog. I'm probably gonna take Get At Me Dog like over everything against everybody except for like short of like Made You Look or Follow the Leader. Like you feel me? Like he
mm-hmm.
rapped that shit to Leo Cohen with his jaw wired after some niggas he had just robbed came back around on him and fucked him up. That's how he got the deal.
DMX is crazy, yo.
DMX is crazy. Like
Um,
just the story. It's like, yo, like Irv Gotti tells the story about how like he was still rapping it so hard to Leo, or he was snapping the wires in his jaw.
I mean, it's
And you see the
folklorish stuff.
and it's a moment. I remember the first time I saw that video, I was like, "What the fuck is
I
this?" I was
love
like,
that
"Oh, they in
video.
the tunnel."
I love that video. All
And
right,
then
so this
You
is
can see
how it
Sheik
went.
and Kiss and style. Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, the whole
This
thing.
is how it went. So it was Deep Cover versus the intro of It's Dark and Hell is Hot. I mean, I
And I
picked Deep
love
Cover.
that intro.
I love it
That's
too.
one of the best rap intros ever, Mike.
I
That's
agree.
one of the 5 best songs on It's Dark and Hell is Hot. But it's against Deep Cover.
All right, so you
Trey
got
Snoop.
What's My Name versus DMX's "What's My Name," and Snoop got that one too.
He does, but that I love that X record.
I
I
love
love
the
that
X
third
record
verse.
too. I
That's
love
what
it.
I mean. X
Yeah.
played a lot of great records. How about this? We realized how great Snoop was because X was playing great
Right.
classic records, and we were like, but it's not better than G's and Hustlers.
So you
Doggy
pick Get
Dog.
at Me Dog over Gin and Juice?
I did, but
Man,
that's
Gin and
just
Juice
because
is
like
tough, man.
Gin and Juice was #1 on the rap charts for 6 straight months, Mike. That might still be a record. Like I know what I'm doing.
It's a straight up classic. Like
It's an instant classic,
when you
and
hear,
so is Get at Me Dog.
but I'm just saying,
I can't
anywhere
take that
you
away from X.
go,
X's whole deal. X's deal is in that song and in that story.
I couldn't
I was like,
definitively
no, I
give
love
that
Gin
one
and
to
Juice,
Get
but
at
I
Me
gotta
Dog.
give X like Get at Me Dog.
It's when you
To
hear
Get
that
at
do do
Me
do do,
Dog.
when you hear that do
That
do
like
do
how
do.
about like I said it on the last episode. That's it's for the have-nots. Like I didn't have shit when that shit came out. Like I feel like Gin and Juice is a great record. Like it don't have any depth though.
With so much drama in the LBC, yeah.
It's kind of no one of the it might be the most famous lead off to a ever. It doesn't have the feel of the contextualization. Me dog. It
Hey, shout
doesn't.
out to everybody in the chat right now too that's chiming in. Don't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, shout out to everybody in the
No, you're
chat.
fine.
We got
No, shout
people
out
in
to everybody in the room.
Vegas.
I can't see none of y'all.
We got people in Vegas. People want to see a Ice Cube versus
Shout
Snoop
out to the
battle of the
15.
West. Man, people said Buster. Well, Jason Heffernan said Buster Rhymes is gimmicky. Okay.
Whoa.
And
Oh, it's very disrespectful.
all right.
Very disrespectful.
Here's the other round. We got. All right. So you gave him Get at Me Dog over Gin and Juice. All right. And then we had Dre Day against some X shit, which was kind of weird. I didn't think X was ever going to play that record.
Me neither. Okay, so that I mean, that's a great record. But I mean, I don't know if it was one of. I mean, it's Dre Day, so I mean, he was about to lose. Dre.
America's Most
can I just say
versus
this?
Stop Being Greedy. And I gave that
Stop
one to
Being
Stop
Greedy.
Being Greedy all day.
I did. It's a better song.
Down for
You know
My
how I feel
Niggas
about
versus
Pop.
Money Cash
Pick the
Hoes.
Huh?
Down for My Niggas versus Money Cash Hoes.
Down for My Niggas. I gave that to Down for My Niggas.
I think I did too, and you know what? I even like Money Cash Hoes more, but Down for My Niggas is just, it's been around forever. I never, if we really think about it, that is the No Limit song that might have the most legs of all No Limit songs from the whole label's history.
Yes. That's the how about this? If they the logo was behind that song. Everything that they were, like the ambition, the hustle, the sound, the beat, the lyrics, the fact that it's C Murder song, really.
Yeah. I'm sorry I keep looking
track
down,
12,
man.
Track
I'm
12
looking
on
at the
C Murder's album.
comments.
Track 12 on C Murder's album, right? All right.
Yeah, right. Sorry I keep looking down, man. I'm looking at these comments. Monique Jackson wants to know, what do we think about the verses that's coming up? We can go into that real quick. What do you think
let's talk about that anyway, fam. That's a good transition. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we'll get back to the rest of those rounds. But yeah, what do you think about the Rick Ross versus 2 Chainz?
First of all, I'm going to tell you what, Cuz just plugged us, so I'm sitting down with Cuz and his brother when we got off about the Spotify shit the other day, and we talking about the verses stuff. And Cuz is like, yo, he's like, I'm excited, Coop, about the Chainz and the Ross. I'm like, I think Ross got that in the bag. He's like, I don't think so. I'm like, Cuz know his shit too. I mean, I ain't gonna put him on blast, but as you see, my Cuz is a made man out here. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, and then, what was crazy, and sometimes maybe it's just perspective. So I want you to talk to me because I was a little disappointed, and I love Chainz personally. I just think Ross's catalog and the hits and the songs and the beats, it's just like not Chainz. And I was like, yo, that's more for Tip. or like Jeezy or The Game, and both of them. And here's what I want to just tell you right quick: both of them was like, "Nah, Game ain't in this conversation." I'm like, "Yeah, he is." And I was like, me and Mike was just saying it really need to be Ross and Jeezy and Tip versus Game, and they was like, Tip would smash Game.
I
Both of
don't.
my cousins was
Listen.
like Tip would smash Game. I
Listen.
was like, I
Listen,
said, I
man.
think he would win. I don't think if he would smash. I said, Game's got a great catalog.
No, I don't.
And,
I'm
and
not. I'm
people
not
and Mike,
sure.
people are sleeping on the Game still.
I'm
Now
right.
I want the Game to do a versus. Like my cousin was. I mean, you seen Cuz live online. Like
Mm.
he's the coolest character you ever meet. Like he turned up a little bit about it when I bought the game up. He was like, "Fuck no, nigga." And Cuz has been living in LA for the last decade. I was like, "Hold on, Cuz living in LA." Like
I'm
he not
not
living he not living
definitive.
in the fucking valley. Cuz living in LA.
I'm not
And he was
definitively
like,
sure that Ti would beat the game. I think the game has a lot of records. He
"Me
might. Yeah.
too."
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean,
But
that could be
but
close.
hold on.
Now,
I'm
as
only
far as the
submitting
Rick
that to
Ross,
say.
go ahead.
No, let me just finish off this to say, because we've talked a lot about the game and his catalog, which is why I brought it up. Is that, you know, Cuz is on the scene like we are, but he deals with a whole nother faction of the entertainment industry. And so it was super interesting to hear somebody who I know knows his rap stuff and is in the entertainment world and is not a rap dude that lives in LA dismiss Game versus Tip that easily. Now keep in mind, Cuz is from South Carolina and went to Morehouse, so his roots are down here. But it was like the dismissiveness of it, that it was like people don't respect Game's catalog, fam.
I think it could be real nostalgic, possibly. What was the other matchup you just said? Um,
Ross and Jeezy and Tip and Game. That's what
right.
we've been talking like behind the scenes.
Yeah,
But
I
we
mean,
didn't get
listen, I'm not sure that Ti would beat Game. Game has an incredible catalog. I think that he has a very slept on catalog. I mean, you got stuff
right.
like Ala Boombaye and all that. Now, as far as Rick Ross and this 2 Chainz thing,
What did Chains got for Ross?
I'm gonna ask you something that somebody asked me, and I was kind of stumped. What was Rick Ross's last hit?
I mean, I would think big time if we're talking like promotion, but you and me, we don't. I just told the story on one of these podcasts about how like I just turned the radio on in the car like 6 or 7 months after I bought it. Like I don't even listen to the radio, and I'm tired of the radio.
What's the last notable Rick Ross? I mean, anybody in the chat, what's the last Rick Ross hit? What's the last
Can we pull up
notable
his
hit?
catalog? You want to know what? I got most of Ross's catalog in one of my.
Well, let me ask you this too. A follow up question. How many
Yeah.
songs does he have that are just
You got
unbeatable for 2 Chainz?
Ooh, unbeatable's a very good question. I mean, I think hustling is unbeatable.
Okay.
Amsterdam's unbeatable.
Think so? I like Amsterdam, actually. It's funny you say that. I think BMF is unbeatable. I think that's one of his haymakers. Like, what's he going to play last?
That's the thing. He got so many like. I mean, Mike, which of the Maybachs is he gonna play? Amsterdam, Pirates, Dice Pineapples, Super High, BMF, Hustlin'. Like he's got stuff. The like both the Ball songs, the one with Nicki, the one with T Pain, the John Legend Magnificent. Here I Am with Nelly.
I like Here I Am.
Idols Become Rivals, Trap, 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 Summer 16 with Gotti. Woo! He's
Okay.
got the he's got the streets and he's got the hit records. I don't like it for Chains because I like Chains. Like I don't think that's fair to Chains necessarily.
I think
I'm
Chainz
talking about the
he's a sleeper in this.
best
Um,
beat kicker ever, Mike.
yeah, features count. Yeah, tell us what's the last Rick Ross feature that was a hit? Cause Chainz is probably gonna hit with a lot of features too.
Mike. I mean, if you want to talk about like, I don't know about hits, but I mean, Mike, he's on some of the best albums this year.
Triple
The verse
Beam
on
Dream.
Ignatius, the verse on Scotty Beam on Gibbs. Like Ross is actually turning into Jay in the sense that it's like the young hustling guys. That's the old hustling guy they go get their classic verse from now.
All right, we got Cross That Line. Triple Beam Dreams. I'm Not a Star. The
Ooh,
One.
Triple Beam Dreams. I forgot about that. Hey, you want to know what he could play low key, Mike?
What's that?
He roasted Nas on Accident Murderers.
For
That verse on Accident
you to say
Murderers
that.
is it's disgusting. No, Mike, he roasted Nas on that Accident Murder. We grew up getting graffiti, now it's getting heated. Like, oh Mike, he went in when I was like, what? I was like, what? I was like, yo, I was like, Nas's third verse better be great. It wasn't. I was like, yo, it's Ross song. He
Hey,
could play that.
I love the
That's one of
record
his
with
best verses.
I love the record with Nipsey too.
Yeah. That's I mean, Mike, I like you and I have talked, I like the last album.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care what people say. Nobody's favorite. Act the Fool, Turnpike Ike. You don't like Turnpike
Turnpike
Ike?
Ike
Like
was
Mike, he can
tough.
play Turnpike Ike. He can play Turnpike Ike.
I liked Fascinated.
Fascinated, one of his best songs.
I think so too. It's like one of the best songs I've ever
He's got
heard from him.
stuff on there. That's what I mean. That's Fascinated is one of Ross's best songs. I mean, is it the best song on that album?
I
What's
think
the
it
best
is.
song on the last album?
Yeah. For me, Fascinated.
I think it's between Turnpike Ike and Fascinated when I just listen to it objectively. I love Gunplay's verse on Nobody's Favorite because he's just like, but
But
yeah,
you know what 2 Chainz is gonna get him at, in my opinion? The performance
Mercy.
of the verses. Like, he's gonna go out there doing what Snoop was doing, and he's gonna hit with these punchlines and the beat, and depending on what he chooses, it's gonna hit hard. You breaking up a little bit. What you say?
No, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sorry, let me. My Wi-Fi is good. I mean, no, I mean, like I said, I love Chains, but it's like, I mean, so I think Duffel Bag Boy, No Lie.
I'm thinking more Free Bass or Lap Dance in the Trap House, El Chapo Jr. I've been
Chapo
getting
Jr.
money. Where the fuck you been?
Maybe, but not enough though. Like, how about this? I think in order for him to win this, he's gonna have to play some songs like "Threat." Yeah, I'm a threat. I'm a threat. Where he's flowing and he's being energetic and positive, but he's kind of getting in depth a little bit in a way that Ross does, but it resonates. Pain. You know what I'm saying? Like when Chainz talks the way that he talks on Threat, it resonates with you. You know, probably never saw your mom drugs. Did Fed time. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like when he's talking like that, it hits you differently because he speaks with humility when he speaks that way. I think he's gonna have to play more of those records, and those records are great. But against Ross, who I think is the best beat picker of all time, even if Chainz is winning with the depth, Ross is just going to hit him with that BMF or that Super High or that Amsterdam. And outside of Duffel Bag Boy, No Lie, Birthday Song, and the verse on Mercy, like those are
Yeah,
his
the
wins
verse
that
on
I can
Mercy.
just see. Yeah. Oh, that's my shit.
Yeah,
I don't
College
care what
Boy,
nobody thinks. You know, Push is
one
my
of the people in
guy,
the
and Push
comments just said that. They said that
Push is
verse on
my
Mercy.
guy, and I still think Pusha has the best verse, but there's something about the way 2 Chainz finished that
That's
song.
what 2 Chainz
He's
does
fun.
in every song, though.
He's fun.
Every
He makes
song.
rap fun. He makes rap fun. Like, you're happy when he's on the mic. You know, it's like, because to be honest with you, it starts off really fun because of Sean, and then it gets really dope boy fresh with Pusha T, and then it just goes somewhere with Kanye. And Chainz is the one that brought all three of those guys back together and implemented all of those elements and made it a song. And he has the shortest verse.
He got
so
the
I'm
best
not
verse
trying
on
to
the
sell
song.
him short.
He got the best verse in the song.
No, when Pusha's talking about Roof Gone George Jefferson, that white frost on that pound cake, so your Duncan Hines is irrelevant. Like, it's not the best verse, Mike, but it's the most important verse.
It's the most entertaining verse.
Yeah, how about this? You can do without Pusha's verse, and the song is still great. even though it's the best lyrical verse, but that song's not the same without 2 Chainz closing it out like that. Like,
No.
it was a moment.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna pick 2 Chainz. It sounds like you picking Ross.
You want to do a list?
We can. I have to really dig for this one. I'm a 2 Chainz fan though.
I mean, I think you're gonna find that you're gonna have to look at a lot of his guest shots that a lot of people don't know about. I'm gonna tell you something he would win against Rick Ross with, and Ross would have to play one of his bangers to beat it. His verse on "What They Want" off "Oxymoron" from Schoolboy Q. That might be Chain's best verse. When I was dodging the police.
What about his verse on Fabulous? I Feel Like It.
Nah, the one on What They Know.
That. He killed that.
How about this, Mike? He was doing the Hove shit that Hove did on "I Love the Dough" with the, I was dodging the police when I was pole with no lights. Yeah. When I was pole with potential, watch my float in 4 inches. Oh Lord, she and Chris.
Yeah, man.
He killed that. Yeah, he's a beast. Yeah, so he's got stuff like that. So all I'm saying is that you really like it. Like, for him to win, you're gonna have to look at the guest shots. I'll give you another one, Super Freak, off 103.
Yeah,
it's another great. Killed that.
Rick James.
Got that wet. That's a super late.
Hey, so remember his verse on what was "It Ain't Nothing to Cut That Bitch Off"? That remix.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. He has all those verses where he's so show stealing and entertaining. Mm-hmm. It's like, how about this? It's almost the Kiss thing in effect for a Southern MC. It's like, actually, I don't even want you to play his album stuff. Play like 4 or 5 songs off his albums, and then play like 15 guest shots, because his guest shots.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's gonna win this in the way that Kiss won against Fab. That's my prediction.
Ross is, man. Okay, let's do a list. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll start off the list because it's gonna be so much easier to pick Ross.
Monique Jackson says, "Can y'all talk about Girls Battle, TLC, SWV, Escape 3-way battle?" Well,
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I don't think Escape is on those other 2 groups' level, in my opinion. And
Escape's better than SWV, Mike.
No, they're not. Stop.
Yes, they are.
Stop it.
Hold on. Hold on. Does SWV have an album better than Off the Hook?
Yeah, the first.
No, they don't. Coming at you and Off the Hook, Mike. Come on, and Traces of My Lipstick. Those are dope albums.
The first
Off the Hook's a classic, Mike.
The first album with Anything right here.
Yeah.
Come on,
it was
man.
Like the little green ass CD. I had the little green ass CD. Yeah, the little green CD. I had that. Had Human Nature remix at the end.
Come on.
Yeah.
Man. Nah, man.
You're Always on My Mind. Yeah. No. I remember that album.
Weak. Stop it.
No. Oh, what'd you say?
Weak. Downtown. Stop it, man. No.
The SWV album had bigger hits. Had bigger hits. Off the Hook is a better album, and Escape is a better group than SWV song for song. And to be honest with you, neither one of them need to be mentioned with TLC. We need to be talking TLC versus In Vogue. That's the real matchup.
And honestly, I put In Vogue in a different class just because of their vocal ability as a collective.
Nobody's ever sang like that.
As a collective. But if we're talking
no 4 women have ever sang like that.
What's that?
I said no 4 women have ever gotten together on the mic and sang like that, ever.
I think member for member, they're probably vocally the best group of all.
Vocally.
Yeah. Member for member.
One by one. Terry, Dawn.
Because all of them.
Think about this. Terry and Dawn weren't even really the lead singer.
They didn't have a lead singer. I mean, every important record.
No, hold on. No. What's her name was the lead singer?
Who?
Kind of, sort of.
Who? I mean, I guess we would say Dawn was, but all of them sang on everything. Terry?
What's her name?
Terry?
Huh?
Terry?
No, not Terry. Terry's the slim one. Dawn's the diva. The one in the middle, like the short one, the shortest one. That's crazy. I used to know all their names. Huh?
Maxine? Maxine wasn't the lead
Maxine's
singer.
Maxine's the lead singer on the first album. It's the only time they have a lead singer. She's the
Terry,
lead singer on Born to Sing.
Terry sung most of the hits on that one.
I
Yeah.
would beg to differ. We're gonna have to go back and check the
Yeah,
rhyme.
Terry sung
Yeah.
that stuff. But I mean,
But anyway, In Vogue TLC is the matchup. Escape and
you know,
SWV is
I
another
disagree
matchup.
with you. I think SWV and TLC is the matchup, and I see TLC
Getting
losing to
smoked.
SWV. And I'm a
Mike,
TLC fan.
Mike. SWV doesn't stand a chance in hell against TLC.
Now we can make that playlist.
You want to do that?
I would love to,
Oh, I'm turned up about that.
because
My last memory,
SWV's catalog aged much better than TLC's.
Mike, I might fade you on Crazy Sexy Cool. Like every song I play on Crazy Sexy Cool, you're gonna lose. I'm gonna let you know right now.
hey, Creep is their best
Mike,
song.
and I'm
It might
going to
be
let you know. I'm playing If I Was Your Girlfriend too. Like, because that's the best Prince remake ever. I be seeing all these Prince remake lists, and If I Was Your Girlfriend's never on it, and it's like the best of the remakes, unless you want to go with I Feel For You by Shaka Khan.
Oh yeah, Monique's right. Cindy was the lead singer.
See,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the one. She was the lead singer on thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, who? Yeah,
You're right. Terry was the one that looked like old girl from Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
right.
It
I
was
mean, they were all fine.
That's
Mike.
what
I mean, they
I
were
was
fine.
thinking. Cindy. I knew who I was thinking of. I just misnamed her. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like Dawn and Terry were the personalities. They could all sing. So even in our old, those are the names that we remember because they were like the personality. But Cindy,
But you know
like
what?
that her acapellas on that first album.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
there were a lot of groups. There were a lot of groups in the '90s, but to me, I feel like In Vogue and Jodeci were in another class. And then there's everybody else. I give
can
Boyz
agree
II
with-
Men 3. Boyz II Men's 3.
No, TLC's before Boyz II Men. They have more hits and more notoriety. And TLC outsold In Vogue while you keep on bigging up In Vogue.
But In Vogue's more talented than TLC. Let's just be honest. I'm
They're
talking
the most
about
talented.
talent.
They're the
I'm
most.
talking
Mike, they
talent.
might. I mean, outside of the Temptations, is there a more vocally talented group in history than In Vogue? Outside of the
It's
Temptations,
very tough. Yeah, it's very tough.
so
But that's
I'm
what
not talking
saying.
about that.
Yeah, and with Jodeci, man, where you got Devontae on the production, you got Dalvin with the writing, you got Casey and JoJo on the vocals.
I mean, you already know that's home, Mike. I'm from Charlotte. Like my cousins grew up with them dudes. Like I got stories about those guys. I could tell you. Like so you already know that's.
They say, what about Total? What about Total?
Huh?
They say, what about Total?
They got some stuff.
You know what? I would
I
rather
like
see
Total. I'm
Total
always
in
a fan of
schedule.
Total. Total's whole swag. Puff is a marketing genius. You know. I'm gonna call him Puff because when I was a kid, we called him Puff, and
I personally like Total's music more than Escape's music. I never really was into Escape like that.
fun. I think they're bangers like "Kissing You," "No One Else," "Trippin'."
Yeah.
These are just more fun to listen to. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm A-Town biased with Escape again. You know. I don't know.
mean,
Am I being biased with Escape and TLC, Mike? Am I being biased?
I think
Too close
so.
to home?
I mean,
Okay. I mean, I'll be that. Like that happens.
listen, I love TLC back in the day, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't listen to their music that much now. I listen to more
I don't
SWV stuff than I do TLC stuff. Now, I listen to Creep, but if I want to be nostalgic, I'll throw on like Ain't Too Proud to Beg or Hat to the Back or something, but I'm not really playing that.
I listen to Jodeci, and of all the groups we named, that's the only one that I still listen to because Diary of a Madman is still like the best R&B album that came out in the 90s, which is like possibly the best era. That was probably album of that era. It's not even a question for me if it's the best R&B album from America that era. They put everybody else to the side. Like in the first 6 songs of the everybody else to bed. Like, it's like, no, you're not any competition to us as far as this shit goes right now. And so I don't listen to anything outside of Diary of a Madman, even from Jodeci, except for that random, stay or come and talk to me circulating on my playlist because it's in there.
I think
So I don't
people
really
want to.
listen to
I
any of that
think
stuff
people want to
anymore, Mike.
see
But
a.
I ain't been in a happy ass R&B mood either.
Well, I think people want to see a Jodeci versus Boys to Men or a 112 versus Jagged Edge thing. Um,
Mm,
I mean, because a
See,
lot of people in
112 and
here are
Jagged
saying
Edge to
that
me are good, but
Boys
it's
to
like
Men
the
had the
Voice to Men
hits.
Jodeci things.
Boys to Men had the hits.
What's the song? Bending Knee. I love Bending Knee. Bending Knee is a beautiful, beautiful record.
I love Water Runs Dry.
Water Runs Dry.
Yeah, yeah, great records. I'll Make Love to You.
Like low key, Cooley High Harmony is the shit. I remember having that CD.
I had the tape. Yeah.
I had the single on tape. The actual single, Motown Philly
Yeah.
back again. Yeah,
I think Dallas did most of that stuff, right? Dallas Austin
I
did most
believe
of that
so.
stuff. Yeah. But
Everything from Black Men before like between 90 and 95. It's like Dallas, Babyface, L.A. Reid,
yeah.
Jimmy James Lewis, and like the rest of you motherfuckers get in where you fit it.
Teddy Riley was getting a lot in. Teddy Riley
90 to 95, outside of Blackstreet and Personal
Yeah.
Projects, no.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was like 85 to 90.
Oh,
More so.
Back to this Snoop and DMX thing real quick. For me, this is when things kind of changed. When when Snoop threw on It Ain't No Fun, and I mean, I kind of wasn't even and it's like, man.
Oh, yeah, he's got so much. I mean, how about this?
Because X played like Back in One Piece from Aaliyah, featuring Aaliyah, and then
I
he
love
comes
that
with,
record.
Huh?
I love that
Did
song.
you?
I love Back in One Piece. Yes. And then Ain't No Fun comes on and it's like, and he's taking another L, Mike. That's what I mean. It's not like DMX wasn't playing like great classic records. I mean, and you and I have talked about this. First of all, I don't think there's any other artist that's going to do these battles that could literally play, if they wanted to, a catalog from just 2 albums and still win. And Snoop can play The Chronic and Doggy Style, and it's over for you, Mike.
Snoop didn't even play Little Ghetto Boy. I was really
which we personally think might be the best record on The Chronic, and it might be his seminal moment as an MC. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't even need my seminal moment."
He probably wasn't even thinking about that shit.
He probably wasn't thinking about it. And Mike, I mean, and you said it, and I think you've said it in terms of the credit that you give. The best moment about the Versus battle was the moment when Snoop Dogg reminds you, yeah, I played Dr. Dre's part because I wrote that shit too. And then you remember that he's the author of Doggy Style and The Chronic. And no other MC, Mike, has ever been the author of 2 of the 10 best rap albums ever.
But you know
except
what,
for
Coop?
Snoop.
You know what, Coop?
Those are top 10 rap albums, Mike.
They are.
Like, it's arguable
and you know
if
what?
Follow the Leader is a top 10 rap album.
And
It's arguable if The Blueprint is a top 10 rap album. Life After Death. If The Chronic and the Doggy Style's not in your top 10, it's like, well, I don't know what you were listening to exactly.
But you
what
know
your
what?
tendencies are.
Let's be fair, though. And with all that being said, The Dogfather is probably the most disappointing sophomore effort ever in the history of hip hop.
Kane.
No. I'm giving it to The Dogfather, man. I'm sorry, man. You just mentioned The Chronic and Doggy Style.
Correct.
And,
you're right.
And after Doggy Style, you come with The Dogfather? Can you name 3 songs off of that album?
Freestyle Conversation and The Vapors are the highlights of The Dogfather. I'm going to have to dig deep into my rap archives. But my mind for rap archives is the deepest archive that I know. And it's like, I can't give you 3. I can give you Conversation and The Vapors. He was snapping on Freestyle.
Snoop's Upside Your Head. I guess we'll round it out. That was on there, right?
I don't count that. And I won't. Next.
You
Straight
always
like
know
that.
what an artist thinks about their catalog based on what they perform or what they like. Nothing from Dogfather was gonna be in this verses.
Right.
Yeah.
Valid.
Um.
No, you're right and I'm wrong. That everything that you just said makes it the most disappointing sophomore album ever. You're absolutely right.
And he
Because if
waited.
you just were the author, if you were just the author, and not only two of the 10 best rap albums ever, two the Chronic's one of the most important rap albums ever. I don't know how important it is per se, but as far as the best, both of those belong in the conversation. And as far as like, yeah, that's a precipitous drop off.
What the big, I mean, the X factor is, the elephant in the room is there's no Dre involved in this.
That's why Freestyle Conversation was so great. He starts off the song talking about like, the dude's talking at the beginning of the song. Oh man, I heard when Dre shit gonna be delicate. That's how Freestyle Conversation starts off. And then he starts snapping, and it's like, well, damn. You feel for a second, it's like, damn, he don't need Dre. Like that nigga Snoop can snap, but like
Snoop can rhyme, but Dre
but
is.
also too, Mike is, and I've thought about this since we've last talked. Dr. Dre's seminal moments. Oh, that's Snoop riding shotgun and writing most of that shit.
Of course. I
Snoop
mean,
too.
he had that moment when DLC was too.
No, not like Snoop.
He
And
took
here's
on
the proof.
he took
Here's
on
the proof. Hold on, no, Mike, because I went back and listened. Snoop's fingerprints are all over the Chronic and the Chronic 2001.
Oh yeah.
And they're nowhere to be found on Compton, and there you have the difference. The
Yeah.
difference is Snoop with Dre
They
shit.
need each other. They're like Big Boy and Dre. They need each other.
No, Big Boy and Dre don't need each other.
They do.
Dre and Snoop need each other. Big Boy and Dre can make classic shit without each other. Dre and Snoop make the best shit ever when they're with each other. Like Mike, still DRE. On my playlist the other day, I was just like, guess who's back?
It's one of the best rap songs ever.
That's what I mean. And like, it's one of the best rap songs ever.
It is. And
Next episode.
And Jay-Z wrote it too. So, you got Jay-Z.
You wrote Dre's part, Mike.
Huh?
You wrote Dre's part.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
About,
you got Dre, Snoop, and Jay. Like, it has to be the greatest hip-hop song ever. Now, it's one of them. I mean, not the greatest, but you know what I mean. It's one of the greatest.
No, I hear you. That album, Mike, I think people don't understand. He doubled down. It's like, I mean, like, J, M, Nas, and Snoop wrote on that album.
Yeah, man. But you're right, though.
That's not even fair. That's not even fair.
Snoop's involvement was imperative, and it was very pivotal.
No, but even with all the help, Snoop's fingerprints are on the Chronic and the Chronic 2001. So when you look at it from that perspective, Dre's best work is with Snoop, not just the other way around, which is why we got to elevate Snoop, because we you need Dre. But if you actually go back and check the material, it's like, oh shit, Dre needs you too, because, I realized something. When Dre stopped fucking with Snoop is when Dre stopped doing beats all the time and started really executive producing albums.
I was going to say, because he never really got behind an artist like he did Snoop.
That's what I mean. He gave Snoop what he had, and after that it was like, you're going to get up to 5 songs. You're not getting more than 5 songs. Shame on you.
Well, speaking of sophomore...
produce your project. I'm going to give you 5 beats.
Speaking of sophomore
Get
slumps,
though. Crying, the documentary, Slim Shady LP. You can go see it. The part of the reason why the Eminem show isn't as good as the Marshall Mathers LP is because I believe there's a 2-track disparity in what Dre produced from 5 to 3.
Well, speaking of sophomore slumps, though, I mean, that Aftermath album that Dr. Dre put out with Been There, Done that counts as a sophomore album too, right? We can't act like that's not what it is.
So, I was,
I mean,
personal aesthetic. So the personal aesthetic for me is that Doggy Style is a better album than the Chronic, and I've always told you that the Doggy Style, the Chronic's more important. Doggy Style's better, and so by that admission, that makes Snoop's failure bigger because he made the better album.
I feel you.
and 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 it's like, you know, I mean, he could have sourced that out a little bit better. The beats on there were terrible.
And you know what? In Dre's situation, many of the times he's only going to be as good as the people that he collectively galvanized at the moment. Snoop is an MC, so it's like he has more control on the mic to make an album better
Right. Right.
than Dre does.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Like Dre was relying on a lot of guys he had never worked with before. Like that's where the whole Nas Firm situation started,
yeah.
and RBX and dancing in the video with what's her name and like all that with the been there done that. It's like he didn't know where he was going.
Doing the
He was really just
tango.
tired of Suge. He was really just tired of Suge and throwing up gang signs.
Yeah. It was a peaceful era. It was like everybody after Pac and Big got killed
I was about
wanted
to
to be
say, yeah,
peace.
yeah. When our icons are getting murdered and everybody wants to turn down now, it's like, yeah, how convenient.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody wanted to be
Right.
peaceful in '97, '98, and then DMX came, and then turned everything back to where.
I love when he came. That's what I mean. That shit's so important. It was like, you know, my pops has this thing. He was like, he always talks about how my mom always wanted to keep me like, you know, all cleaned up all the time, and how he used to just like want to throw me in the mud. That's what DMX did to the game. It's like he threw the game back in the mud. He like, man, fuck all this happy shit you talking.
Yeah,
Like we out here hungry for real. We out here broke, starving for real. You dudes is out of here wearing like shiny suits and all these chains, and like he snatched everybody's heart, Mike.
he did.
It was
And
beautiful.
and the
I
fact
loved it.
that
I'm
people
a half knot.
and the fact that people rallied around
Yeah.
it, that lets you know that people were looking for it. Oh,
I was looking for it.
oh
Like
yeah.
he was like, yeah. I was a
So
teenager.
so hold on. I think DMX played that "It's All Good," and then that's when Snoop came with
That's a good
"Bitches
record.
Ain't Shit."
He's winning that too.
Yeah, and Snoop's verse on there might have been the best verse that he did that night.
Maybe
Cause,
he was probably
Cause
feeling it.
DMX was rapping the whole verse. It's like, on a hot and sunny day, the nigga DLC and the nigga Dr. Dre. Yeah. Staples,
Like I said,
man.
you know everything word for word. Like you know so much of his stuff word for word. When I was sitting back doing a multitude of other things and I'm rapping along while like I'm cooking, while I'm writing, text,
Hmm.
handling business, and I'm like, hold on. I'm like, hold on, like that's a whole problem for everybody. Like, cause I'm like over there looking at X, I'm like, oh, that's my shit. And then Snoop would come on and I'd be
Yeah.
like, you just lost again.
When I
It's like
really
you just lost
noticed it,
again.
and I think we were talking about it, Slippin', we know is an incredible record, and it's a very personal
It's a
record
classic.
for
It's a classic.
yeah, very personal record. Oh, Monique just mentioned that Slippin' versus Murder was the case. Yeah, that was a moment for me because
Me and Mike was talking about
because
that. Yeah, we had a whole combo.
on paper, you see those two records and you're like, yeah, Slippin', whatever. But after hearing Slippin', and then you hear Murder was the case, I can't say Slippin's a better record. And it
And
hurts
it's
me to
not Mike.
say
It's
that.
like
It's not. It's not.
when you. It's like when we talked about it behind the scenes, and you were like, "Coop." When he comes in, as I look up at the sky, my
That
mind starts
shit,
tripping.
man.
A tear drops my eye. My body temperature falls. I'm shaking, and they break in trying to save the dog. Pumping on my chest, and I'm screaming. I stop breathing. Damn,
Damn,
I
I
see
see
demons.
demons.
Dear
Dear God,
God,
I
I wonder,
wonder,
can
can
you
you
save
save
me?
me?
I can't guide. My boo boo's about to have my baby. Mike, that's classic. I think it's too late for praying. Hold up. Her voice starts. Mike, oh man, it's bananas. Like I
you
was sitting
know,
back, like Mike, I was saying the word for word, like stuff that I haven't recited. Like I don't even remember the last time I played Snoop shit. Just in all honesty, and I was like, I still know all this stuff word for word. That means I played it countless times, Mike. Because I ain't played Snoop shit on a regular basis like that no more. I gotta be in the mood for Doggy Style. I may play Doggy Style once a year. because it's doggy style and like that's it. Be like, I need to play doggy style for the year is over. It's like November, like.
I mean, that's a record that you just put on when, like you said, you cleaning the house and you just let it ride. Um,
But he wrote two albums like that, and like they just happen to be produced by Dr. Dre. So
but see,
like
this is the difference between Dr. Dre and all the other producers in hip hop.
coming through the
A
speakers.
lot of people, that the engineering side of it, a lot of people in hip hop as producers are beat makers. You could tell this dude has something to do with the song structure.
Producer
Yes, he's a producer in the traditional sense. What you just said
in
with
the
that
Quincy
whole,
Jones sense.
yeah, with that whole, as I look up in the sky, that's Dr. Dre telling, this is what I want from you. I
Mike,
think the
I'm
only
still
other
hearing
person
the
that
beat
might do
right
that
now.
is Pharrell. I think Pharrell does that too. But for the most part, most producers in hip hop giving you the beat, letting you do your thing. You could tell
The
Dr. Dre.
Neptunes or Pharrell?
I think Pharrell, as a member of the Neptunes, tells a lot of artists what to do vocally in ways that Chad
But
doesn't.
in Chad sitting right there on the boards a lot of the times when those things happen too, like with Past the Cavassier, since we were talking about Busta. Like
Yeah,
Chad was sitting there for that. The Neptunes produced that track.
yeah. But do you
Yeah.
not think that Busta's approach on that record is not guided by what Pharrell kind of wanted to do on that record?
Yeah,
Because
I
he
mean,
is
no,
the
no, no.
writer of that
That's
collective.
not what I'm saying. It's just like too often. It's like I'm starting to see this thing where it's like Pharrell and the Neptunes are becoming one thing, Mike, and like we need to keep them separate. Like that's kind of our job. It's like no, 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 no. Are we talking about Pharrell or are we talking about the Neptunes? I know Pharrell got his shit, but most of what you're talking about is Neptune stuff. So even with Past the Cavassier, it's like, is he being led by Pharrell? It's like, yeah, that's Pharrell's gift on the production side. But who's sitting down on the board while that's going on? That's Chad. That's a Neptune's inspired. Like Pharrell played his part, Chad played his part. It's just Pharrell's playing the part that gets the notoriety. And so I just want to be mindful about shit like that.
No, you're right. Completely.
Yeah, like Happy is Pharrell shit. Yeah, Hell Hath No Fury, that's the Neptunes.